Where are you right now in this moment? How would you describe the moment you're in right now?
I'm in a good place. I'm learning continuously, man.
Mm,
It's a lot. It's a lot to learn. I'm growing so much,
mm,
and that's kind of what the project that I've been working on is all about.
yeah.
You got Green
Yes.
talking about growth, and
Yes.
so I'm growing, man, and I'm appreciating the growth.
That's what it seems like. I've been watching your journey. It feels like for 3 years at
Uh,
least.
I feel like it's been longer.
It's probably been
I
longer
feel
than
like it's
that.
been longer.
Yeah, it's probably more like 4. Because remember, actually, you did the interview with King Size. We were already rocking before that, and that was probably in 22.
Homie, yeah.
Yeah, I wish he could have come by. He could have came by today.
Does he live right?
He lives 30 minutes from here. Yeah, shout out Sizzle. If you if you are in the area, you need to stop by before Reese Lachey leaves at 2
Pull
o'clock.
up. I'm gonna stay here till you get here.
I'm gonna text him at a break. To make sure he knows you're here because I probably dropped the ball on letting him know you're here. So one of the things you said when I said total transformation, you said total.
Total.
What led you to Christ?
Ooh, it was a lot. It's too much. I was in a really bad space in life,
Mm-hmm.
and like my life was literally falling apart.
Mm.
I read something the other day where somebody said, "You ever been so broke you feel like you about to die?"
Mm.
And that's a meme. Like it's supposed to be funny, but like the times that I was in, like I was so broken. I was so like it's unexplainable. Like where my life was before Christ.
Yeah.
And I can remember like I didn't even believe in God, but the first thing that happened that made that was that lead to him.
Yeah.
I was on my way to work one day and it was raining, and I tried to get over and switch lanes, and there was a car there, didn't know, and I hurried up and tried to swerve back, and I started spinning in the middle of the road. Now again, I didn't believe in God,
Right.
but as I'm spinning in the middle of the road, and a lot of people probably heard this story before, but I'm it's like my life just slowed down.
Yeah.
And I could hear like the cars going, chim, 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 and just everything slowed down. And I remember dropping the wheel, and I just dropped my head, and I was like, God. And when I opened my eyes, I was on the side of the road.
What do you believe made you cry out to God since you weren't a believer?
In that moment, they always say you call on God when in those times when you're either broken, like your life is you're feeling some type of threat in life. And that's what it was for me. Like I thought I was about to die.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's 2013. Well, that's before 2013.
That was 2012.
2012. So then from there, what brought you to Christian hip hop?
I was already rapping like in the world, but not really. Thought I was doing something. And I remember telling my sister, man, I can't rap no more. I can't do it no more. Because I just gave my life to God. I just told him that I was gonna, like come out of homosexuality, change and do, switch the way I dress. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't rap no more. And my sister said, why don't you do Christian rap? And I was like, what? Why would I do that?
Right.
What even is that? And I laughed. But then I started doing research. Like I went to Google and typed in Christian rap. I found The Truth. I saw a video of The Truth with Ty Tribbett.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. And it's been a
Who
journey.
am I? Right, that's what it was, right?
It's been a journey ever since.
That Truth and Ty Tribbett joint. Who am I? We might have to play that later. That joint still slams. What? So interesting, right? It sounds like you're almost saying you went cold turkey out of homosexuality.
Yeah.
How difficult was it?
At the time, it wasn't difficult. In the beginning, there was no difficulties.
Okay.
It was as if God literally took me. He took that thing, and but I also went through a season of like I was seeing so many miracles. I didn't even care.
This was after the accidents. After you called
after
God.
the accident,
after the
I started
accident.
seeing it just like left and right, miracle, miracle, miracle. So I didn't care.
Gotcha.
Like I knew that God was real. So when I told him, okay, I'll do it. It was like I didn't care about nothing.
Okay,
this is just what I.
We mean okay, you do it.
That I'll go back to. Well, at the time I was saying go back to being a girl. I was always a girl, but
gotcha. Yeah,
trying to be a boy or whatever.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So during that year before you came to Christian hip hop, what was the journey like? Were you able to find a healthy, well balanced church? Were you able to have people around you who were helping disciple you, or were you kind of on your own? How would you describe that period?
Yeah. So after the accident, I started going to a church. At the time I was in Virginia, Grace Church, always my home. No matter what home I go to, I have, everywhere I move, I find a new home, but that's my home. I started going to church, and I always hear these stories about people who, they live the lifestyle, and they say like, churches, and I see the things, I see how disrespectful people can be when you're living that lifestyle, or you show up, God made you a man and you show up as a woman in church. I can see that, but for me it was not that. For me it was welcoming. They loved me. They immediately started to add me to certain things, whatever they had going on, they included me.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
that's good. Now you're born and raised Louisiana.
Born and raised.
How many places have you lived? Because you're back in Louisiana.
No. I live in Tulsa right now.
You live in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Ada, Oklahoma? ADA?
No.
No one has ever heard of Ada. So that's where I worked for years. Okay. Yeah. We were living in Dallas, and I would go to Ada, usually Monday, come back Thursday night or Friday morning, and and I go to Tulsa every now and then. Yeah, okay. How long you been in Tulsa?
I've been in Tulsa since November.
What made you move?
I had like an opportunity. I have some family out there. Like I have sisters that live in Oklahoma City. So I'm never shy to moving.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
that's a pretty big move.
Yeah.
Like culturally, from Louisiana to Tulsa is a pretty decent. Like what's the appeal for you?
But I've always been like that. I've lived in Atlanta. I've lived in Virginia. I moved to Virginia with my grandma for like a year when I was in the 5th grade. So I've always like,
Right. I mean, but I'm just trying to understand like what's the appeal, right? Because most people, when you ask them where they're going to move, there's been obviously a huge migration to Atlanta, North Carolina, Miami, Chicago. I want to say Philly because I'm Philly born, bred, raised.
Okay.
New York. But you usually don't hear, I'm going to Tulsa.
Tulsa is dope.
That's why I want you to elaborate. What is happening in Tulsa?
Tulsa is a very artsy place.
Okay.
Everywhere you go is art. It's dope. Like I can't explain it.
I like it when I go.
When I moved to Tulsa, everything just went like. I ended up like the girls that were dancing in the Lean video. I met them on like I didn't know who they were, but they knew who I was.
Gotcha.
The girl, she had already made a video to Stay Low.
Yeah.
And I met her. Now her husband, my pastor.
Nice.
And
nice.
So
Tulsa's working.
Tulsa is working.
What's the story behind the song?
Can't take that.
I'm sorry. Yeah. What's the story behind that
song? It's really not deep. I just when I came up with that hook, I had some stuff that tried to make me break me, but it made me.
Right.
I'm not capping when I say the devil hate me.
Yeah, but
I went through so much, bro. I went through so much. And it's okay. I'm gonna tell the truth.
Yeah, please, thank you.
In December, in January, when I released For Such a Time, that's with Lean and all that. I produced that entire project.
Yeah.
And the day before, and people heard this story, but the day before I released the project, I had a homie hit me, and he hit me up to let me know like why he unfollowed me. And this is a bro. He's like, bro, you bro, and he hit me up. I unfollowed you, but he sent it in a text, so I called him. but he, you know, he was apologizing. So I'm like, I'm gonna call him because, you know, what's up? And you know, we started talking and I said, so what was it? So
Right.
like, did I do something? Like,
Right.
what was it?
Right.
And he said, I just got tired of the space. Like, I got tired of seeing everybody do the same stuff. And, you know, everybody so, you know, people in Christian hip hop is just you standing in front of the camera and rapping. And I took it personally when I shouldn't have.
Yeah, I got you.
So when he said it, because I asked him a personal question, like, what was it that made you, like, we fam.
Right.
So what was it that made you, you know, say I'm not rocking with her no more? And he said, I got tired of everything and seeing the same people do the same stuff. And I was like,
in
man.
the Christian hip hop space.
Yeah. So I was like, so I went.
Oh, you don't follow a lot of people then?
I don't know.
But he told you specifically. He texted you to let you know.
He texted me and was like, I just want to apologize for separating myself from you and woo. So I called, and I'm like, what's up? Okay. So this is what happened. So I went, like, I have people that I go to, like I have friends that are not within the space. And I went to one of my friends and I ran up the conversation and she was like he dumped on you. And I'm like so confused because I'm like I thought I was doing good. I just produced my own project that's dropping tomorrow.
Right.
By the way. And now I'm like, this project is trash. This is I gotta do better. Like, so I took it personally and then I started to apply those things to me. And I started to feel insecure, like, about what I was doing, and I was doing great. Right. I was doing great. Like, this is my first project I ever produced. Right. It wasn't the best, no, but I did. It was a good great. Project. I did great.
It was a good project.
I did great.
Yeah.
And I took those, and I'm an overthinker. I overthink a lot, so I took that and I just let it soak, and I'm like, everything that I was writing and doing, I'm like, man, this is not good enough. I'm not good enough. And I went through an entire season of like this dark, like
off that one comment.
No, well, it wasn't just that one comment, but it was things that it kept happening.
Okay.
Like different people, like different the enemy was sending people. And I'm not saying that like, you know, this person is not a child of God or anything like that, but we all like we go through things sometimes, and sometimes the enemy can't get the best of us. And it just was back to back, just like people. And then I wrote a song called D&D. I haven't released it yet, but I did a song called D&D. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I was on Do Not Disturb for like 3 months.
Wow.
Kid you not. My phone was on Do Not Disturb for like 3 months. Wow. I couldn't talk. I don't want to talk to nobody within, like, you know, the space. People was hitting me up, like, and people don't normally hit me up to get on songs, by the way. It's a very small amount
for features.
Yeah, it's a very small amount of people that ask me for features. But in that season, people kept asking.
Interesting.
Asking, and I'm like, I'm fighting for my life. Right now, I'm fighting for my life. And but also at the same time, I have ADHD like really bad, so I stopped taking like Adderall.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, I'ma just do, you know, with it. Life. Yeah. And so that was also a part of it where I'm like fighting all these things. Yeah. And the reason I stopped taking it is because when I moved, they gave me a different medicine. It was like Vyvanse or something like that. And then I started having like sexual desires. So I'm like, okay, that we can't do. And so but at first I didn't know it was the medicine. I just was like crying, like, God, like, what's wrong with me? I'm going through this test and I can't figure it out. And God, like, but it was the medicine the whole time.
Oh my God. So what's crazy is you started with there's nothing behind the song.
Yeah.
There's everything, but what are you talking about?
It's a project. It's an entire project behind those 3 months.
Yeah, but you're a multi. I was going to say complicated. Complicated is not the right word. You are comprehensive and multidimensional as an artist. And I don't even know if you know this or not, or you do this or not, or you put all these things together. When I've watched you over these 4 or 5 years plus, I've watched storytelling without necessarily planning the storytelling.
I don't plan anything.
Right? I can see you writing these vignettes and these stories about your past, even sharing video clips about pre-Christ and things like that, and telling these stories. And so there's like this continuum of you unveiling your life, but then also these insertions of, okay, in this moment, this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Right? And so I could, when I watch your different songs and whatnot, I'm intentionally listening to what you're saying because I appreciate how you put art together. And I'm telling you, I see a timeline of you telling your life story, but then I also see these moments where you're like, right? This is it right now. I'm coming off the story for a second because I got to deal with this, and then I got to deal with this, and so that's how I felt with Can't Take It. I felt like it was like a moment of a pit stop of, yeah, I'm telling my journey, but there's some things that have happened in this recent season that I got to get off my chest.
Absolutely.
See?
That's crazy. You put it that way. I would have never put it that way because it would have took me a minute, but I like that. That's absolutely what it is. That's absolutely what it is.
That's why I said we got to talk about it because I just, and Jay asked me to ask you this question about the song too. So shout out to Jay. Because then I listened to it again and said, yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
And your artistry that way is to me just a part of your brilliance. Matter of fact, in recognition of your brilliance, I have a little gift for you.
Oh.
It's not that big of a gift.
It's big because it's
not that
a
big
gift.
of a. You want to open it now?
It's big.
You can open it.
I know what it is.
Well, how you know what it is?
What is it? Oh, I thought I knew what it was.
Okay. Just something so you remember us at Holy Culture Radio.
Water bottle.
Yeah, it's
I
just
left my water bottle.
But it's one of those insulated.
I got my water bottle taken at the airport because I forgot to pour the water out.
How timely is that? One of those nice insulated.
This is beautiful, guys. Listen, if you don't have one of these, you need a Holy Culture water bottle.
You know, we actually do not.
Have this one.
We don't sell them. I'm reserving them for guests.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't sell
Well,
those.
then you need to get up here and get you.
Yeah, I'm reserving them for the family. So, yeah. So So thanks for sharing that because now I feel, I feel like, okay, you validated the way I think about how you present your art. And so to that point, one of the things that's interesting to me is you produce. Obviously you write, but you sing, but you kind of keep it under wraps.
I didn't think I was keeping it under wraps. Like people always comment, like if they hear me sing live, people would comment and
okay,
say, like,
so maybe
you sing, and I'm like,
so maybe that's it.
Y'all be listening.
So maybe it's not under wraps. It's just not fully recorded.
I think I confuse people with the auto tune, or people are confused with auto tune, because when people hear auto tune, they think it's just the auto tune.
Right.
There's a specific sound that like you can tell if
I know you're
if
not
a person
auto-tune.
can sing or not.
I know you're not auto-tune.
Yeah.
But I think there's this layer in between singing and rapping that a lot of rappers have moved to, right? Of being able to do melodic choruses. And so I think right now many people think you're in that melodic chorus, right? Segment. You actually can sing. I was watching you sing this song a little bit, Come to Me. And I said, well, okay, why is that not recorded and published?
It was a song already. I just started playing.
So then do a cover and go to Easy Song or what? I'm oversimplifying it, but get the license and redo it. It sounded really good.
Wait, I have to get licensed for my own song?
You will have to get publisher clearance to redo a song if it's already been published, right? You're saying it's already been out.
Yeah, but it's my song.
Oh, it's your song.
Yeah. Come to me.
Okay.
Come to me. Come to me.
You wrote and did that.
Yeah.
It's when was it released?
2021. It's on the All Love project.
I totally missed that.
Yeah, it's on 2022.
All right, so erase everything
Love.
I just said because I totally missed that.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, my bad. Totally missed that. Okay, so when we come back, we have to explore more relationship. I've just got so many questions about how you're doing now too, because to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong when we come back, I see you flourishing this year in a different way. Despite all the stuff you said about unfollow, messing up your confidence for a second, making you question everything, I feel like this is a year of flourishing.
Yeah, because I can't take that no more.
That's it. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about was, what's the state? Well, it's actually a two-part question. Talk about how you view ministry and business.
I haven't figured that part out yet.
Say more.
Honestly, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Because business is a little more difficult than ministry.
How so?
Because with ministry, it's ministry.
Just
Like
show up.
You just show up. You do or try your best to do what God says do.
Right.
And be your best.
Right.
As Christ say. But then within the business, it's a little more difficult.
Elaborate. I mean, you can't just lay that up there and not. What's difficult?
You have to be able to, in some ways, separate it sometimes
from ministry.
Sometimes. And the reason I say that is because not everybody runs their business as a ministry.
Understood. Absolutely.
Some businesses are more ministry based, and some ministries are more business based. And you just got to know, what's what.
I heard someone say, I want to make sure I give the right person credit. I think it was Ebony Funderbrook. We were at the NAGR breakout or conference during the Stellar Awards, and I think Ebony said, many times we conflate ministry and business, right? And it's not healthy for us. It's not a healthy conflation.
Okay.
Do you feel that takes place sometimes? Like things get intertangled and we can't have a clear conversation sometimes about ministry or sometimes about business and them not get intermingled inappropriately?
I have to say that I honestly do not know.
Okay.
I'm not the best when it comes to business, man. I'm not the best.
So that means you must have a brilliant team because you are moving.
No, I'm like, I keep God in everything I do.
That's good.
I'm like, my team is real. Like me and Shalon, she handles all my bookings. Everything else I do.
But like I said, this is a flourishing year from you. Let me ask this question. How would you compare and contrast where Reese Lachey is in 2024 versus 2022?
Ooh. How would I compare it?
What has changed for you?
I believe that I've grown so much mentally. It's so hard to explain. In 2022, I was rapping. I'm like, I'm doing this thing for God, and nothing was happening. And I started to tell myself, I can't do this much longer.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, but God, I don't know if I can keep doing this thing.
What was making you even have that conversation with yourself?
And
with the Lord.
So I was pouring so much into music.
Yeah.
I was pouring everything I had. That's when I was learning beats because I didn't have the money. I don't have the money to pay.
Wait a minute. You telling me you just started producing in 2022?
No, I mean, no. I started in I told myself I was going to make beats in 2022. I said, I'm going to start making beats.
Okay.
And then I kind of started playing with it, and I was like, maybe this is not the right thing to do. Let's just go back to buying beats.
And then when did you start making beats then?
I produced the song Run.
Yeah.
And that was last year? And that was the first, that was
But like songs like Green, Lean.
All those, yeah.
You produced them. That's crazy. So you're telling me you've been producing less than 5 years?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah, less than 2 years.
Those songs.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, all right. So now let's go back. So all right, so that's a big compare and contrast moment. You went from buying beats, leasing beats, to fully producing your material.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
Yeah, it's huge, but and that's the difference between the Reese then and the Reese now. Like, I was broke, I couldn't pay for beats.
Yeah.
It was a lot of stuff I couldn't do, but I never gave up. So I just found another way. Find another way.
That's a good tip for everyone.
Yeah. And now it's like, I could pay for beats now, but I don't have to.
She said I could pay for beats now.
Yeah, but I don't have to.
Fine. Okay, so let's stay there for a second. Find another way. How did you find another way?
Man, the day that I said I'm gonna start making beats, I like kind of just like broke down to God. I got on my knees and I'm like, God. And it wasn't even about money. It was about me pouring out all this content and pouring out this music, and it's like, you know, I'm not being heard. I'm also broke and I don't know what else to do. God, please tell me what to do. Help me. God, help me. And I came up and I said, I'm gonna make some beats. And that's when I started to do I was calling it like a hip opera, the hip opera thing where I was like acting it out. I don't know if you saw those.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I started doing like a hip opera and I was making the beats for it, and then I started rapping over them and like doing this whole storytelling thing. And
I gotta go check that out.
Yeah, I removed them.
Well, there you go. That's why I haven't seen them. Okay.
Yeah, and I did that, and then I kind of gave up on it. So I'm like, okay, we're going back to buying beats and you know, this thing.
That is so interesting. Okay. So
and now I'm producing
full-fledged producer.
And I'm
full-fledged producer. Are you producing for other people too, or just yourself right now?
Not yet. I've sent out a few beats to a few people.
Okay.
Just like I make my own beats.
Yeah.
And if it's something where I'm like, I can hear somebody else on that, then I'll send it to them.
Gotcha. Okay. So now I got your perspective on ministry and business, and you're still navigating and figuring it out. Small team, one person helping you do your booking, you're managing everything else, which means you're managing your finances, your registrations, all the admin stuff, your publishing, all that.
Reese Lachey LLC is a publishing company.
Oh, so you are doing everything, and you're traveling like a champ. You're doing a show or two a week. You're on the move. That's why I say it's a flourishing year. So then, how would you describe the state? Because right now you're full time. Yes.
Yes.
How would you describe the path to getting to full time in this work?
My path.
Sure. People want to learn. I think people want to learn other people's path. One of the things that I talk about a lot on this show is just career journeys, right? And I think everyone's career journey can be drastically different, but we want to look at examples and hopefully pull something from them, right? So there's this delicate balance, I think, of learning from other people's journey, but realizing the Lord may have something totally different from you. Yeah. But still, to the extent you feel comfortable sharing, like, what was your journey to saying, oh yeah, this is going to pay the bills. This is going to do the thing.
Yeah. For me, it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of trial and error, a lot of setbacks, a lot of, I learned through those trial and errors though. The reason I created the publishing company is someone came to me and they wanted to publish my music. And at the time, like, I didn't even know anything about publishing.
Right.
And so when I found out and I started to learn, I'm like, why would I give that to them? And so I created it.
Got it.
And that's kind of how my journey has been ever, like, all this time.
Gotcha.
All this time has been like, you don't have this, you know, create this.
Right.
And I've just been like, my entire life is creating.
Gotcha. Who does your artwork for your covers?
I do my own artwork.
That's what I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah,
so you do. So you write it. You create the graphic illustrations. You manage your socials.
Yeah.
So, so what's your sleeping patterns like?
I sleep good at night sometimes, but when because I be having bad seasons where I'm like, I'm up all night.
Yeah.
There's been times like that season I was in before, where I was like going to sleep at 5 a.m. But you know, I'm good now. I sleep.
Okay. So you're constantly creative, constantly on the road. How would you describe? So again, before we started on the show, I was saying that I think people will be pleasantly surprised that you're full time, because I do think there's a perception that, one, it is tremendously difficult, if not impossible, to make it in Christian hip hop unless you are like Lecrae or Andy or KB or No Big Deal in Indie Tribe or Miles Minnick, right? Because these names I'm saying, I think almost everyone knows in Christian hip hop. Yeah. You've become a more recent name, I think, that a plethora of people know, right? But I think again, people would say, "Oh, I'm not sure. If you're not one of them,
Yeah.
7, 8, 10
Yeah.
names,
Yeah.
you can do it, right? But you've been able to do it. Yeah. How would you describe the state of Christian hip hop for women? How would you describe that?
Man, I feel like we're in a good place.
That's good.
With like last summer we did Stay Low, then we did the
Yes.
Stay Low remix.
Yes.
Wande just dropped the album.
Yes.
Shout out to Wande.
Shout out to Anike.
Anike.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Caught you.
Shout out to Anike.
We're all still adjusting. The album is great.
Sheesh.
The album is great.
I think we're in a good space. We still have a lot of room to glow.
Right.
We still have a lot of
Glow
room to grow, and I think we're gonna do great.
Where do you think?
Fine.
Where do you think the areas of growth are?
I would say like collaborating. And I say that because I believe that with that will be more seen and more women will be noted.
Gotcha.
So I would say that collaborating.
What can others in the industry do to be more helpful for women in Christian hip hop?
For women, I can't really say because I don't think this might sound bad, y'all, but I don't think people should like show us like special treatment just because we're women. Like I don't think I just don't, I think we should be held to the same standard as everyone else.
Sure.
And
oh, we're gonna have to come back on that one. I like the thought. I just wanna unpack that thought a little bit, particularly given where you are in it.
Yeah.
That is an interesting perspective I did not expect to hear. So I want to hear more. Thank y'all for Instagram Live. For those who are there, I'm going to make sure we ask some of those questions. We've got questions around, top 5 artists right now, excluding yourself.
I can't exclude myself.
King Legend. Jay's perspective on what you ended with, that women shouldn't be given preferential treatment. We got to touch on that. And then a question about, advice for artists, particularly new artists in this space. So let's start where we left off. You said, to my point of the state of women in Christian hip hop and what those who can should do to help. You said, well, maybe there shouldn't be preferential treatment. So I want to unpack that, but I want to give you a visual to kind of unpack it. So for me, whenever I think about an ecosystem, I always think about, like, is it made for everyone to run it at the same pace, same distance? So for example, when you go to a track and field event, it's like, great, there's staggered lines.
Yeah.
I remember explaining this to my son when my son was younger. God dog, he's old now, but when he was younger, it's like, it's not fair. So he was talking about something's not fair, and I said, well, a lot of things are not fair.
Fair.
Right. The only place fairness is the only place they try to insert fairness is there because the circumference is different. They put the staggered lines in to make sure everyone gets the same opportunity.
Yeah.
So with what you said, do you believe women have the same opportunity in CHH?
Well, now that you put it that way, well, yeah. For the most part, I think, okay, so when it comes to man, this is so difficult.
It's okay. This is all family listening and watching. It's all family. There's nothing wrong, you can say. There's nothing.
Sometimes not. Sometimes there are the times where you'll see the tours and it's like 10 men and 1 woman. Or it's 10 men and no women. So with that being said, yeah, but then you also have to look at tour as business, right? And when people are putting on tours, they're putting people on that they think are gonna bring out a crowd.
Fair.
And even for myself, like, I don't look at tours and say, man, why didn't they put me on? I I can't go. Well, now I'm getting to a place where people are like, "Oh, Reese with Shay." We know
you got a
Reese
sold
with
out
Shay.
event tonight.
Yeah. So now I'm at that point where people actually know who I am.
Right.
And that's the difference. Like Anike, she can go on tour because people will come out
Child
to
like
see
Cece
her.
was opening up for KB, right?
Child like Cece. But you see now the women within the space of Christian hip hop are growing, and now you're seeing also the opportunities are growing.
Okay. So you feel like you feel like it's getting there.
It's getting there. But it's also up to us. That's why I said what I said. When I said I don't
say more about that. Yes,
I don't think we need let's put that out there. When I say like I don't think we need special treatment or anything like that, because it's up to us. It's up to us to create great music. It's up to us to put our faces in these places, and it's up to us to do the work. Work that's necessary.
That's right.
And some of us are blessed, and I'm one of those people. You know, I'm not gonna take credit. I'm gonna give the credit to God, and then I'm also gonna give the credit to me being a part of Reach Records playlist. That took me.
That helped. That was helpful.
That helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, I think that the women, we're gonna be fine.
There's opportunities though. If I was going to ask you what can platforms and such help, and if so, how? But I'll throw myself on the chopping block for a second, right? I mean, if you look at Holy Culture Radio, we've got 18 shows. Only one show is led by a woman.
Renee Day.
That's right. And another show now just added a woman, right? Amy on. Excuse me. I'm sorry. The Fix in the Morning with Dice Gamble, right? Yep. You got Raina Day, who leads that show, and then you've got Amy, who just joined Church on the Block. But still, 3 out of 15 shows. The rest of the shows are black men for the most part, right? And so I remember someone saying that to me, and I said, I've got to work on that, right? And so there's still work to do. And so when I come back, now that I've given my admission, we need to go to break real quick. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit about what I think folks like myself and others can do. Hopefully my counterparts agree. Got it. Oh, yeah, Mia for 116. Thank you, Max. Yes, we got 4 shows. And so I do think that we are often in our own echo chamber and pick people we're comfortable with. And that's why I think diversity is always a topic to talk about, diversity, equity, inclusion. And I include women in that mix because it's like playing, pickup games back on, you play basketball, so you know how it is when you want to pick people for, who you're going to play with a game. A lot of times you didn't pick people based on, I've analyzed their skill set. You pick people you're comfortable with. Get married. Mary's on my squad. Joey's on my squad. This is my boy, so on and so forth. I'm not sure when you're doing pickup games like that, you're analyzing all the players and their skills. Right?
I do.
Well, you do. I think you're an anomaly. I don't think a lot of people
like, I'm picking him up.
I think a lot of people pick who they're comfortable with.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And that happens in corporate environments and every ecosystem who you're comfortable with. Well, how do you get comfortable people?
Yeah.
Building relationships and spending time with people.
Yeah.
And so what I feel like I need to do, and I've tried to work more at this, is when I go to different events and whatnot, spend more time with those I don't know. Yeah. And I'm an introvert. You dig what I'm saying? So for me, that's extra work. That means let me go meet and spend time with, back years ago, Angie Rose or Bianca Love or Toya Love or different people that know different people. I can't change the sound mixture of the station if I don't get to know some of these people.
Yeah, that's facts.
And see if they might be good for this.
Yeah.
You think that's true across other platforms and whatnot in terms of lack of opportunity?
I think it can be. Okay, since you brought up pickup games, right?
Yeah.
I was at the basketball court one day.
Yeah.
And it was it's always so many guys, and the guys are like, they so rude. But like they don't pick up, and I can play, like I can ball.
Right.
The only time I get picked up is when somebody who knows me is there, and they're like, oh yeah, she could ball. Pick her up. But if it's people that don't know me, they never play with me, they won't pick me up. But there was this one particular time, there was 2 other girls that, they're there sometimes. And one of the girls, like, she created her team.
Yeah.
And she was like, we're going to have a women driven, like it was me, her, the other woman, and 2 other guys. And we were playing against 5 guys. And I'm like, I'm gonna play.
She let you know.
I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play. We lost so bad. But I can't say.
You can't say
Okay,
it.
I can say. Like, it was three women of a team of 5
Mm-hmm.
versus all guys of people that really play.
Okay.
And then you have two women that they kind of play, or
Right.
they play for fun.
Right. Well,
And then I played all my life, and it's like,
I got you.
The balance wasn't there.
I mean,
The balance wasn't
that's
there.
a tough one, right? That's like saying take your favorite NBA team and put it against your favorite WNBA team.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
So I think there's a lot of people who, when they do pick, they're picking like,
Yeah.
this person's dope, this person's dope, this person's this.
Yeah. Now translate that back to our space.
Yeah.
Do we have more feature opportunities, collaboration opportunities, cross production opportunities
For me,
for women in CHH?
I can only speak from what I know. For me, like I said before, like, not a lot of people were asking me for features.
Gotcha.
I wasn't getting features. Nobody asked.
That really surprises
when
me.
When I would ask people, it'd be like crickets. That's why when you go to my Apple Music, it's like 5 people. I got a handful of people.
Yeah.
Features. But now, because I've grown, more people and like, we could work with her. Yeah. But not only have I grown in terms of like as an artist, I've grown all around. So now I'm producing, and now, now that I'm producing, I'm in control of my art.
Yes.
So when you listen to a beat, I know exactly how that person felt when they made that beat.
Yes.
I can tell you what they were thinking about. And so now I take my own thoughts, I put them into this beat, and then I can create, and it feels so much better. And I think that my music is also showing that. It's showing that now. It's like it's getting better.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting features.
Yeah.
Now like I got one I accidentally I got a track with Paris. I sent it to Paris just to let him hear it because Paris also lives in Tulsa.
Gotcha.
And,
does he? I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay.
And so I sent it. Sometimes I send out music to a few people just to see what they think. And he was like, "You sending me these songs to get on them, or like, because this y'all dope."
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, hop on it."
Yeah.
And
there you go.
There it is.
That's beautiful. The career journey you had is interesting. And so let's just talk about like careers for a second. Maybe this will answer the question that the person asked about breaking through in Christian hip hop. So interesting story. You see the Holy Coach Radio sign thing on the door right there. So the guy who did that owns a company called Fast Times, right? So he's in here, we're talking, and he was talking about the difficulties of, like, we're wrapping up, of hiring people nowadays. And he's like, I've got 2 stores, this, that, and that, but you can't keep people hired. Like, and I said, well, maybe it's a pay rate issue. He's like, I start people at $20 an hour, $22 an hour.
Okay.
And they don't even have to be that experienced. I said, is that right? Now, I don't know how far that can go nowadays. Things are tight. Grocery store is heavy. But his point around either people not showing up for interviews or I hire them, they don't show up for the work and so on and so forth. It had me think a lot about the current generation and this kind of, sometimes I feel this pivot of passion, purpose versus kind of practicality, right? I'm older than you. I'm not going to say how old, but we kind of grew up, a lot of us grew up in that generation of that needs to work and earn your way to doing the work you want to do.
Yeah.
I think the more recent generations kind of start with a premise of I want to do some stuff I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Where do you see that? Like, where do you see that in kind of the career management mix? This whole thing again of like purpose, passion versus practicality. How do you think about that? Because being an artist is not practical all the times at all.
And not at all. I think it's a good thing. Like I have a friend who's like in the medical field who's doing something they don't want to do, and I'm like, well, then why are you doing it? Why are you doing it?
Yeah.
And I think it's a great thing that more people are getting a hold of their purpose. And I actually like I want to be more a part of that. speaking up and letting people know, like, hey, instead of like, the meme that always goes around that talks about like, everybody can't be a rapper or actor or this. We need plumbers too. And it's like, well, let the plumbers handle the plumbing.
If you got the calling for being a plumber,
if you called to be a plumber,
right?
But I'm gonna be a rapper,
right?
So I think it's great. I love to see it.
What do you think people need to do in order to, if you're going to pursue that path or even start thinking about really pursuing your passion and purpose, given the journey you've had, if you were doing it all over again, would you do anything different? And if so, what?
I wouldn't do anything different. And the reason I say that is because in the very beginning, God already gave me the word. Whatever you do it as unto the Lord and not man. Sure, I've strayed away from that. Sure, I've listened to what people said and I've allowed it to get to me and I've allowed it to taint me in some ways for a little while. Yeah. But then I always come back to that word and I remember, whatever you do it as unto the Lord and not man. This is not for you. Yeah. This is what I'm doing. If you don't like it, that's okay. Somebody will. And I've always remembered that. So I wouldn't change anything.
That's good.
He
that's
like
good.
God really helped me together during this entire journey.
Is that what got you through those moments where you said, man, God, why'd you put me here? Because this is not covering the bills. Like what am I doing? Is that what in those moments, what helped you pull through?
Yeah. It was always my conversations with God. It was always those moments with God where like, even though I'm crying and I'm mad and I'm like, God, like, what are you doing? A peace would always come over me. Yeah. A peace that would always come over me. That's good. Feeling of like, it's okay.
That's good. That's good.
It's okay.
That's good. Now let's stay there for a second, right? So one, it's so good to hear that God has once again, and always does, but I think we need these reaffirming stories, shows up.
Yeah, always.
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 Stick and stay, right? It's like when you're playing football and your coach says, stay home. Okay? When we come back, I want to go back into this a little bit because to our point earlier, our discussion earlier around ministry and business, what you're talking about to me is that relationship with the Lord that kept you grounded. In the same way, I want to talk a little bit about the business things you had to learn along the way to get you here as well. Hey, y'all, we're going to be right back. This is the Quilling Solution Show right here on Holy Culture Radio. All right, so let me hit some of the questions from the live and make sure we don't miss some of them. Your top 5 CHH artists.
Oh, I'm always going to say, okay, this is not in no order. This is not in order because they all have, I listen to everybody for different reasons.
Sure.
J Monty.
Bars.
Mission.
Bars. And melodic.
Yes. I just recently started listening to MOG Trey. But him.
Not familiar. I gotta check him out. Okay.
Aha. Love Aha.
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Melodic.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Who didn't I say? I said J Monty, Mission, Aha, MOG Trey, Paris.
Yeah. That's it. That's 5.
Okay.
That's 5. That's 5.
Okay.
J Monty is bars, bro. And Mission has that melodic motivation, bars. I remember his first album, man. I love Mission's first album. I can't wait to have Mission come through, man. He's got a lot to say. Yeah. Okay, so Jay asked, what would you tell the Reese Lachey of 5 years ago? And what I think she actually, let me refine it. I think she actually said, what were you doing 5 years ago that set you up? Yeah.
What was I doing 5 years ago that set Reese Lachey up today? 5 years ago, I don't even know where I was 5 years ago, but I'm a estimate and say
2019.
I was believing. I was just believing, man. So just believe. That was actually one of the first songs I ever recorded. It had this sample that said, just believe in me. So like, just believe when God tells you something, when God tells you to do something, or wherever he tells you to go, belong there. Believe that. Believe the words of God over your life. And trials will come.
Yeah.
You know, things will come to try to steer you off, but when you believe and you remember and you know that this is what God set for me, nothing can stop you.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so back to what helped you in the journey. Again, we talked about the ministry part, your relationship with God. That has seen you through getting from, point A to point B to point C. But talk about the technical and the business things that you had to learn that helped make you the Reese Lachey you are today.
Yeah. It's a journey with business and technical. Like everything I learned from situations, man.
Were there any key mentors or people who walked alongside you or any of that? Many.
I had many mentors, many people, many seasons with those people. One I can shout out to. I don't know if you know SO Gideon's Army.
Gideon's Army,
yeah.
Yep.
So SO from Gideon's Army, Pastor Rich, still to this day, like he's a mentor of mine.
Yeah.
Like anytime I'm going through whatever I'm going through, I'm like, hey, and he already know, like he's ready.
Yeah.
He's ready. I'm like, I know that he knows. He always say, I know this about to be good.
That's good.
Because when I call him, it's like it's always something. So
yeah.
Many people.
Yeah. So people. So staying true to the Lord, learning, grinding, involving mentors and whatnot. And the learning and grind, it's interesting to me because again, having watched you this whole time, I always saw a fighter.
Yeah.
I always saw someone fighting, like just relentlessly fighting. And I think about that from that perspective of, and people, this is not a shot. I just want to say it though. We all have to have some resilience.
Yeah.
Right? To take those gut blows and come back, you have to have resilience. If you really are passionate, you really believe this is your calling, your purpose, you've got to swing for it and assume you are going alone.
Yeah.
And
especially in business.
Especially in business.
You
come on
to.
now.
Yeah.
And take it as a blessing if people walk alongside you. But don't expect it necessarily, and don't be discouraged if not everybody signs up to support your vision.
Yeah.
How did it come to be that you're selling out a show in Philadelphia tonight? How did that come to be?
I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I was getting ready to promote the show.
Yeah.
And I hit up my booking manager to see, because it's a lock-in.
Okay. Like a church lock-in?
Well, there's a concert. It's a whole day of stuff. So there's a concert, and all the DJs and stuff like that. And then later they're gonna have a lock-in.
Gotcha.
And so I hit her up to make sure, like, hey, before I promote this, is it okay to promote it?
Yeah.
And so she went, and then she hit me and was like, it's sold out.
That's dope.
So it's nothing to promote.
Did you ever see, like, just think of that. I mean, did you ever see yourself selling out an event?
No.
Why not?
I never wanted any of this for myself.
Really?
And that's crazy. Like, I never wanted a lot.
What did you want?
I remember the first time I did a performance, the very first time I did a performance, all I wanted to do was do the performance. I didn't care who was there. I remember seeing like videos of people on the streets rapping.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to stand on the street and rap.
But you didn't care about the audience per se.
I never cared about the audience. And then I did that, and I was like, that's cool. And this whole journey that I've been on, I'm just here, bro. People always ask my goals. People ask, like, I don't make goals. I don't have goals. I'm just here. Like I kid, and don't let me be a bad influence. Because a lot of people, I tell people like, I don't make goals. I didn't dream, like, I don't see this. I didn't wake up one day and like, I want to sell out a show. No, don't let me. A lot of people hear me say that and like, that's not good.
Yeah.
I could probably be farther if I was making goals.
Don't know.
Look, but all I know is I can't be disappointed in anything.
Here's the funny thing. When you say you don't set goals, the interesting thing is, well, it depends on how you answer this question. What is guiding you?
God.
And what about God is guiding you?
The fact that he said that this is what I'm supposed to be doing and me doing it and allowing him to just
order your steps.
I'll just order my step. If the door there, look, if there's a door and that door just so happens to be open for me,
yeah,
I don't always go through.
Right.
Sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, not going through that door.
Yeah. So it's interesting because when you say that, if I was your business manager or your executive coach, right, part of it would be, well, I'm not sure you don't have goals. They just may not be in the format that people are used to hearing them.
Yeah.
You said you want to be submitted to God. You said earlier you need to present things with a quality for God.
Yeah.
You said earlier you need to be progressive and moving forward. You said earlier you've grown in production. So they're there. They're just not in the format that some people may be used to.
I'm like this. Yeah. It's the ADHD. Like I don't think I'm so serious. I don't think, and I used to cry about this because I know that I'm like my inside of my brain is different. Like my brain is like that. Yeah. And that's basically what
meaning
ADHD.
What, constantly moving?
ADHD is like scribbly. Like if you could draw a picture of a ADHD brain, it'd be like scribbles.
You multitask a lot.
Not well. No.
Not well. Yeah.
But yeah, so like my goals are just like I'm gonna do this thing.
Yeah.
But I just do it.
You just do it. Yeah. That's good. You know, with that said, because I guess you're probably not gonna like this next question. I was gonna ask you, you know, like where do you see yourself over the next couple of years?
Wherever God takes me.
I see.
Wherever God takes me.
Just that simple. Wherever God takes you.
But I see that as a benefit for myself. Like I just said, like I'm hardly ever disappointed.
Yeah. That's good.
You know, so
that's good.
If I don't get a thing, like I'm not like, oh, I want a Dove Award.
Yeah.
And then I never get one. It's like I never thought in my mind, oh, let me go get a Dove Award. Yeah. No, I don't care. Yeah. If I get it, I get it. If I don't,
that's good. You know, it's interesting. You know, you gave a lot of good advice about, again, to that question of passion, purpose versus practicality. And you're like, man, walk in your purpose. Why not? Why not chase it and everything that comes along with it, including God's provision?
Yeah.
And then you also talked about the technical and business side. Let's also just shift that question just a little bit. What would you tell a person to not do that you see often happening? What is a pitfall or two that people could avoid?
I don't know. I don't really
mean, know. As you look to the left and the right sometime and seeing other things, you go, oh, you know, I want to be sure I don't do that.
I don't know. I hardly ever like, you know.
Gotcha. You kind of stay to yourself.
Yeah.
Stay focused on, like the horse with the, I forget what you call those joints.
That's literally like, this is what I see. Like
that, but with ADHD.
But even when I'm like, if I'm walking in the store, I don't see anything. I only see where I'm going. I kid you not. I've been places where people be like, I saw you and you didn't speak. Well, I didn't see you. Yeah. I didn't see you. I'm sorry. But that's literally like.
That's cool.
I can only focus on one. My ADHD only allows me to focus on one thing at a time.
Now, you know, what's interesting is as you start selling out shows and all those things, you can't help but have a different place of importance in people's eyes.
I know, that's crazy.
And what's so interesting about it too is even sometimes when people don't know exactly what you do, there's almost an aura around you that she must be something seems so so when people ask you, hey, what do you, I just couldn't help but notice that you seem special, whatever, what do you do? What's your response?
So this actually just happened. I went to one of the churches I went to. I went to shoot some content. and it was a girl in the front office. I went in the office to get her to open the door, and she said, and I asked her. I told her I was gonna shoot content, and she said, "You look like you were somebody." And then she was like, "Wait a minute, I danced to your song." Like, and then she brought up this dance, and she actually has a video of her dancing to Stay Low, and it's crazy because she literally said that. She said, "You look like somebody, like you look like you were somebody." And a lot of people don't know when they see me, they don't know, oh, that's Reese Lachey, you know. So if I start singing Stay Low, they're like, I know you, but and it's getting new, but most people don't know me when they see me, but they do, but they can tell, like
they can tell.
You look.
They can tell, and they're gonna be happy when they go into your catalog.
Not all the time either, cause not all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the song. What was the name of the song? Being in there, call me a Buddhist, and saying you ain't got to do this. What's that song? You know what I'm talking about? One of your early joints. Thinking to call me the Buddhist, and saying you ain't got to do this.
I told Pavin take off, and I threw it.
Yes. What's that song? What's that? I can't remember that. That's one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite songs. It was in my workout playlist for a minute. But anyway, one of my observations is interesting too. That you said performing wasn't a thing for you necessarily that you want to do or have big audiences. But I've watched some of your videos from events, and one of the things that strikes me is I've seen videos with you on stage with large crowds in front of you, but then I see the videos where you are out in the crowd, and you look mad, comfortable's not the right word, intentional in being in this circle of like surrender and tapping hands with people. And if you sweat, you sweat. If you cry, you cry. If your hair flies over the place, it's going to fly over the place, because in this moment, we are going to worship God, give it up to God. I mean, is your head in that space, or where is your head doing that in those moments?
My head is never even there. It's like I'm like sometimes I'm performing, the Holy Spirit is so heavy. Like there has been times where I cried. There has been times where I broke down. In California, Miles and all them was there, and I broke down there, and but hold on, because I'm going backwards.
That's okay.
The time, because you said something about touching hands.
Yeah.
There's a specific video where I'm worshiping God and I'm singing So Glad, and all the kids are reaching up for high fives. And I gave the first high five, and then they all started like doing this, and I'm like giving out high fives, and then it hit me. Like those high fives started turning into like worship. And so I backed away, and I was like, no more. You know what I'm saying? And I actually explained to them why. Because as I was doing this, and they were like trying to, because I can tell that they were trying to touch me, but not in a like type of way. They were worshiping me. They were.
Got it.
And I explained to them, and I said, I'm sorry, but look, I'm a human.
Right.
I'm a human being. I mess up just like everybody else. I'm just like you. And that's one thing about me that I'm a very intentional, and I love that about me.
Yeah. I
am so human. And when I say that, it's like, duh, but no. It's a lot. As an artist, it's so easy to be like, I'm an artist. I'm you. I was standing in line at a Miles Minute concert in Houston. Yeah. And I was in town because I had an event there. And so I just went to support them, and I was standing in line with everybody else, and they was like, "Why you out here with us?" Yeah. And I'm sweating with them, and I'm like, "Cause I'm out here with y'all." Right. I really couldn't get in, but but I enjoy being out there with them. Right. Like they knew who I was, and I'm like, "Hey, well, we talking. Absolutely. We out here together. Yeah. I'm just like you." Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. So in those moments when I'm going down and I'm in the crowd, like, it's a feeling of like, I want to be in the midst of y'all. Yeah. That's good. I want to be down here. It look better from upstage. Like I get better pictures and stuff like that, better videos when I'm on stage. But when it just feels more
Yeah. How did
Intimate.
the kids receive that when you said that to them?
They received it like they was worshiping me.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They received it like they received
funny.
it.
Listen, let me get you out here and get you ready for this show tonight. Tell people how to stay up with everything Reese Lachey.
Yep. So you can find me everywhere at Reese Lachey. Everywhere at Reese Lachey. Spotify. Put me on them playlists. Apple Music.
Run them numbers up.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Reese Lachey, everywhere. TikTok. I never say TikTok. I hate TikTok.
Well, okay. That's for the next interview. We'll talk about that one.